Hello, my people. Vito's832 here. Let's look at what's going on in the world of Kickstarter, and then there'll probably be other videos dealing with other stuff. Um, on Kickstarter right now, first of all, we got the bicycle blue color playing cards from Collectible Playing Cards. By the way, if you go to collectibleplayingcards.com, use the code Vito's832, you get 10% off right now on any order you place. This one is a pretty nice looking deck of cards. I like it. For some reason it's struggling. 24 days remain. It's 51% funded. It's only got a goal of about $8,000 or something like that. Actually, $7,500, $8,000, whatever it is. And it's struggling. There is a stretch goal for a white color deck, which is going to be a red version of the deck with different court cards. But I'm not sure if that's going to happen at this rate. I'm not even sure if the blue collar deck is going to happen at this rate. Now, moving along, there is the Bicycle Aves. I think that's how you pronounce it. Playing cards by a new company, Lux Playing Cards. This is their second deck. It's already over 200% funded. 15 days still remain. It's got a bird theme. Then there is the Impressions Playing Cards by Make Playing Cards. Very interesting looking deck of cards. It looks like it's going to be, the cards look like they're going to be very thick. 5 layers, I think. And basically you can see, basically it's like the cards, the images on the cards are embossed. So it's like the tuck box. The cards look like the tuck box basically, with embossing all throughout. Very interesting. It's already over 700% funded with 28 days to go. That's over $36,000. Definitely very interesting and collectible, different, unique. Then there is the Draconian Playing Cards by Randy Butterfield of Midnight Card Company. This is his first project he's doing himself on Kickstarter. He's not doing it with House of Playing Cards, and it's not like the other deck he did through JP Playing Cards. He's doing this himself. It's going to be funded or fulfilled through a fulfillment agency. 29 days remain, and it's already funded, and they look beautiful. There's 2 decks, a blue one and a orangey red one, borderless with swirly patterns on the back design. It's very interesting, dragon theme. I like it. Definitely go check it out. Then there's the EC Playing Cards by Everything Cards, a YouTuber. You may have heard of him. 37 hours remain, 31% funded. Not going to happen. There's the Rongo Playing Cards by Matifu. 7 days remain, 91% funded. It should get funded, however, it's been struggling to get that last 10, 12% of funding, 10, 15% of funding. It's slowly getting there. Will it make it? The suspense is building. There's 3 different decks of cards, plus the blue and gold one they have released in 2 different limited versions, which to me is overkill. And then there's the Steampunk Bandits, Bicycle Steampunk Bandits by Gambler's Warehouse. Overkill on this one as well. It's over 280% funded right now with 4 days to go. They had the original black deck. There was a white deck from a stretch goal. There was a unbranded colored deck in a stretch goal. And then there was another stretch goal for a mini deck, a mini version of each deck. So that's 6 decks basically. And now there's another stretch goal at $30,000 for a jumbo-sized deck of the white version, which would be the first custom jumbo-sized deck. You know, we're talking those massive decks. They need less than $2,000 to hit that. So far, they have barely moved in the last day or two, last couple of days since they announced that. So I don't know if it's going to make it, but it should. I would like to think it would make it. Then there is the Bicycle Cthulhu Mythos Playing Cards by Arundel Libby. 5 days left, 50% funded, not looking good. It's not gotten anywhere close during the whole campaign. It's just been nothing going on. The problem, in my opinion, is having 3 decks, 3 different boxes that have the same deck, and there's nothing special about those boxes. They're just different colors. If she had made them so that they were embossed and foiled and special limited edition, they would sell a lot better, but if it's just a different colored box with the same cards in it, collectors aren't interested in that, and it's sewing, obviously. Then there's this new deck called the Bin Cards, Binary Playing Cards version 1, which, yeah, not going to fund. 58 days remain, it's 2% funded, and I can fairly safely make that prediction. They're not going to hit $5,000. They'd be lucky to hit $1,000, in my opinion. Basically, and it says it's a novelty playing card designed with binary numbers and common computer icons for tech-loving people. The only problem is people who are tech lovers, they're on their computers creating stuff. Hang on. Crap, I'm back. Lunch is ready. Anyways, these cards, they don't even have pictures. I got a video, but basically it features, it's just weird. It's not going to fund, I don't think. It has different, it does not have your standard suits and pips. It's all techie related. Like I'm saying, people who are into that stuff, they're not playing with cards, they're playing with computers. And people who are playing with cards are not necessarily going to be interested in cards like this. And since he doesn't have any images, just some stuff in a video, so I can't even begin to describe to you without playing the video a whole lot about what the cards look like, just that they're not good. And it doesn't even tell you who is printing them or producing them, so whatever. It tells you nothing about what the cards quality is like or anything like that. Moving along, there is the zombie playing cards, Dawn of the Deck. They look related to another zombie deck, the Ultimate Zombie, I believe it's called, that I have. It was a bicycle branded deck, just because of the Z logo in the center. However, we've seen a million zombie decks. Most of them have been failures. This one is already 59% funded with 21 days to go. It's a really low goal. And I don't know. I'm not interested. That's for sure. Then there's, I should tell you about this, Dexhibits. Dexhibits are display cases for playing cards made by Gambler's Warehouse. It's well funded, 24 days remaining. They're basically this big display case that looks like a spade pip or a club pip. I don't know if they have the other pips, but for sure, clubs and spades. And it's pretty cool. Then there's the Ace of Blades knife throwing playing cards. Again, knife throwers, they don't care about playing cards. And people who like playing cards, they probably don't care too much about knife throwing, and these cards, not that good. 9 days left, 26% funded. Can you say it's not going to happen? Because I can. Then there is the Celtic playing cards by Cultural Land Enterprises. I hope I pronounced that correctly. This is a updated version, or new version, whatever, of a previous deck they came out with. 22% funded with 11 days to go. Not happening. I think, in my opinion, some of the problems was the last project dragged on forever. By the time the project ended and was funded, they didn't even have any artwork done. And then just dragged on forever and ever. And maybe people were not overly excited about the end product that much. I know I wasn't that particularly excited. So, I don't know. I don't think it's going to fund it. Not likely at this rate. But we'll see. Then there's this spotter playing cards which has airplanes on it. It's based on a old school deck. 25% funded, 23 days to go. Not sure it's going to happen. There is a Coat of Arms by Justin Freud. There's a Coat of Arms deck, a Dark Ages deck, both printed by Expert Playing Cards. And they've hit a stretch goal for a bicycle branded Bronze Age deck. They're funded, and there's 8 days left. There's only going to be, as far as I know, 1,000 of the bicycle branded decks, and probably 1,000 of each other, the other two. And that is because USPC has reduced their minimum printing to 1,000 deck runs, which is going to be chaotic in the near future. I can see Illusionist, maybe 311, and other companies throwing out extremely limited decks with only 1,000 printed, maybe only 800 sold or 500 sold. The websites are going to go crash, and it's not going to be good. And then on Kickstarter, everyone's going to be putting out these decks, unlimited 2,100 print runs, and then 1,000 limited print runs. Hey, it's going to be better though, because right now as it is, if they wanted to do limited edition decks, all they did was put them in special tuck boxes with foil and embossing and metallic inks and whatever. Now, at least they can put different cards in them. It's not just a different box. So, thank you. That helps. Because if there's one thing I don't like, it's a deck that just has a different box. Alright, moving along. Another deck that just popped up is the Concentric deck, which is going to be printed by Legends Playing Card Company if it ever funds. They're looking for $9,000, which is a pretty hefty goal for a Legends Playing Card Company deck. And so far they're barely funded. They're not even 10% funded, 9% funded to be exact. Court cards look pretty nice. Basically the whole idea is geometric patterns within the pips and the layout of the pips. Pretty interesting. I like it. The back design, not so much. It's just got black circles and red diamonds in a circular pattern. Yeah. The back design could be improved. The faces are pretty cool. I understand the theme though, and the look. Then there is the Seasons Playing Cards by Alexander Chin. Well funded, 9 days left. Go check these out. The Seasons Playing Cards are among some of my very favorites. So that's saying something. And you should go check it out. Then there is another Kingdoms of Erden deck of cards. Basically it's the same thing as the last one, except the court cards have defensive poses instead of offensive poses. But the back design is the same. Everything else is the same. It's just the court cards are different. 56 days remain in this one. It's an extremely long campaign. 34% funded. Will it fund? I don't know. It's extremely too early to tell. I'm not a huge fan of this. It's basically the same thing that I already got. Printed by Liberty Playing Cards or Arlington Printing, which is through Gambler's Warehouse, which the quality is not so good, especially for fanning and handling and stuff like that. The stock is fine, the finish is okay, but they just don't work well together. And I wasn't overly impressed with it the last time, so I'm not going to get it this time, especially since it's basically the same thing. If it was a different color, the back design or whatever, it might be better. They do have a stretch goal of $5,000 for a USPC deck, and I don't think it's going to hit that. They haven't hit a USPC deck yet, so I don't think it's going to happen now. I apologize for the video being a bit long. I'll try to hurry it up. Next up, King's Cup cards. Yay. Another deck of cards based on a drinking game. And let me tell you, I've seen King's Cup cards several times on Kickstarter. Not one of them has come close to funding. This one, 31 days left, 9% funded, and I don't think it's going to fund. All you need is a regular deck of cards. You don't need a special deck of cards for King's Cup, you know. And it's not something that collectors are looking for. Not something magicians are looking for. Even the drinkers don't care. If they're playing drinking games, they don't care what the cards look like. Next up, Bicycle Arcana Playing Cards by Colton Marshall, which has a mystical, whimsical theme, whatever. 26 hours to go. It's 26% funded. How ironic. Not going to happen, obviously. There's the Renaissance Playing Cards. This one, 3 days left. It's funded. Yay. Not particularly interested in that one myself. There is the Deck of Skeletons Vintage Playing Cards by Mike Wilcox. 18 days left, 61% funded. It's got skeletons and skulls, and yay. Hasn't been done before. Then there's the, it looks like it's going to fund though, but who knows, it's still early, it's only 60% funded, so may or may not happen. Then there is the Twins Edition Refined Bicycle Playing Cards by Dean Liu. It is funded, 101% funded to be exact, just barely. 3 days to go. I am going to apologize right now to Dean. I said stuff on the project page, in the comment section, and on my previous videos about how he would be short funding, that you would have to print 2,500 of each color, and that he was only going to do 1,250 of each color. Well, as it turns out, as it stands right now, USBC reducing their minimum print quantity to 1,000, he can do 1,000 of each color, so that's perfectly acceptable. Had he come out and stated this in the first place, or had he sent me a message, or had he confirmed that with his people, or sent me a message to confirm that, it would have been fine. But he kept denying it and not accepting what I was saying, and it made it worse. But I do apologize. Now, given the information I have that they're going to be doing 1,000 deck print runs, I could safely say that one should be fine. Next up, the Bicycle Smiley deck. Not going to happen. 39 days left. It is 1% funded with $102. It's been like that since day one, and it's going to be like that at day 0, because it's not going to happen. It's just an ugly deck of cards. The back design features like 52 different smileys that they use on each different card, and it's just completely unappealing and executed poorly. People just not liking it. It's all about happiness and positive content, and that's fine, but all I'm seeing is scary. Then there is the Wiretap playing cards by Dave Boyd. 4 days left, 24% funded. This one's got a wiretap surveillance theme, I should say, not feed. And this is a relaunch, and it's not going to happen. And I know he's planning to relaunch again. It's probably not going to happen. So take that into account. Then there's the decks of the Aftermath Volume 1, 60% funded, 17 days to go. It's been slow to get to that funding goal. It may happen yet, but it's not overly appealing in my opinion. There's 3 different decks of cards. They all got one-way back designs, which aren't very attractive, and I don't really understand the themes. They're just postmodern Eastern European design in a worn and weathered look. It's a post-apocalyptic theme. Okay, whatever. Too much. Then there is the Army Playing Cards by Jackson Robinson. Well-funded, 19 days still remain. Sawdust by Emmanuel Jose, his latest deck. 4 days left. It is funded, finally. And then there is the Rainbow Illusion Playing Cards by Landry Sanders, who, this is the 4th time he's had a project on Kickstarter and still hasn't had any luck. 30% funded, 3 days to go. It's not going to happen. These were to be printed by Legends Playing Cards, and I do expect a relaunch, but I'm not expecting a whole lot of success, unfortunately. I do like the cards. I think they're beautiful. I think you should check them out, but not going to happen, I don't think. And then there's the Year of the Ram Playing Cards, printed by Bicycle. 10% funded, 17 days to go. Not going to happen. It would help if the back design was not simply Year of the Ram 2015. Because that is absolutely lame. And then there is the Mana Playing Cards Civil Signature Series by Eric Mana. Just launched yesterday. There's 44 hours to go. It's a very short campaign. It's already over 9,700% funded. That being said, the goal was only like $100, and that means they're at $9,700. What is it? It's basically the same thing from the last campaign, except signed and numbered special edition, limited edition decks, only $99 that's available, and I could care less. I'm not paying that much money for a signature and whatever. I can't afford it. I'm not interested. But anyways, that is what's on Kickstarter right now. I apologize, the video is really long, but there was lots to talk about. It's been a while. A lot more I have to say. I'll see you next time.